Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we will start the discussion in 3 minutes. Please be seated and turn off or mute your mobile phone. distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Now let us welcome today's moderator, Mr. Joseph Huang, Chairman of Eastern Commercial Bank.
Welcome you all to this panel discussion, Empowering Women Through Finance. I'm Joseph Huang, Chairman of Eastern Bank. It is a great honor for me to moderate this panel of important leaders and experts. Let me first introduce our 8 panelists. First, Honorable Tatiana Lara. Presidential Delegate of the Women's City Program in Honduras. Second, Katie Taylor, Executive Director, Pan America Development Foundation. Then, Fernando Escalante, Deputy Minister for Economy of Guatemala. Then, Renique Zhang, CEO of My Crown of Clothes. She is an outstanding female business owner from St. Vincent and Grenadines. Then, Rosemary Yongxin Wang, Country Representative Officer, Country Office in Taiwan, Central America Bank for Economic Integration, CABE. Then, Hank C.C. Huang, President, Taiwan Academy of Banking and Finance. Then, Wenlin Su, Director General, Department of Commerce, Ministry of Economic Affairs of Taiwan. Last but not least, Jonathan S.H. Liu, Director, Lending and Investment Department, International Cooperation and Development Fund. Today's forum centers on the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal 5, achieving gender equality and empowering women. When we think of women, we think of stability and resilience, and therefore, in the context of a country's economic development, bridging the economic gender gap is a pressing issue if we want to realize sustainable growth in the post-COVID-19 era. Acknowledging the value of women's empowerment, the Taiwan government initiates and rolls out the post-pandemic of COVID-19 Women Economic Empowerment Program in Latin America and Caribbean program since 2022. I come from banking sector. Thus, I fully understand there must be integration of government policy, incentive mechanism, and financial innovation to bring about significant impact on women equality. As far as I know, this program is indeed a multi-instrument package with broad visions and big ambition. In many developing countries, due to social and cultural constraints and the banking sector practice, women have more difficulties in accessing affordable financial services, especially loans. This is also the case in Taiwan in the early days. Therefore, introducing proper mechanism to drive behavior change in financial institutions can be said to be the last piece of puzzle to achieve women economic empowerment. In this forum, you will hear voices from government policymakers, practitioners, Taiwan's development partners, as well as female business owners. The panel will also share Taiwan's experience in empowering women. It's obvious that women empowerment cannot be achieved solely rely on the financial market itself. Governments also play an important role. Today, we are honored to have governmental representatives from Honduras, Guatemala, and Taiwan to share with us how the government can intervene through policies, regulations, and government programs. First, I would like to invite Honorable Tatiana Lara, Presidential Delegate for the Women's City Program from Honduras, to give her remarks. Please.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Y a ICDF por haberme brindado la oportunidad de estar hoy aquí en este importante foro y poder compartir con ustedes qué es el programa Ciudad Mujer que me toca dirigir a nivel nacional.
Good afternoon. I'd like to congratulate Taiwan ICDF and the organizers to welcome us and invite us. And this Ciudad Mujer on the slide is our campaign slogan, promising that women can facilitate change, to facilitate structural change, to break the barrier of gender in Latin America and the Caribbean as well as the world. We have to catch up of more than 100 years of gap, and we are moving forward steadily, especially now in Honduras. This is our first opportunity in history that a woman is serving as the president of our country. Mr. Xiomara Castro is a female president, just like President Tsai of Taiwan. When we see women in leadership roles, we notice the issues, the problems that women face, and we have this opportunity to facilitate structural change within the society. And in Honduras, women accounts for 51% of the population. In terms of income and employment, however, women's participation is the lowest in Latin America. In production, and for causes of death, breast cancer, cervical cancer, domestic violence are the most significant causes of death of women in Honduras. For every 29 hours, a woman suffers from domestic violence, and among the 100,000 people, one woman suffers from domestic violence, is dying because of domestic violence, which is the highest in Latin America. And teenage pregnancy is it's the second highest in Latin America as well. So these situations are happening in Honduras right now. And our country is one of the poorest in the world and the second poorest in Central America. 74% of the women are affected by poverty. And that is the most significant disparity we've seen. And in terms of entrepreneurship, women faces challenges as well, having more difficulty in applying for loans and faces a lot of bureaucracy. Many businesses remain unregistered, and the crime is high in Honduras as well, with gangs and drug trafficking. So the previous governments, we have to work on the problems left behind by the previous governments. Also, we are facing a loss of population, emigrating to other countries. Major businesses are moving outside of Honduras due to the pandemic, and we face a lot of social issues as well. Women is facing a lot of challenges in terms of employment and treatment, fair treatment. And for us, for our program, the Women's City, we established 6 centers across Honduras, as shown on the slides. And at Honduras capital, we offer programs and services specifically for women. And I think this initiative is brand new in Honduras, and it's a rare opportunity for us to have 6 different government departments integrated within the same building, integrating within the same facility, offering services for women. We have services helping women to remain independent and to gain economic empowerment, education, teenage pregnancy. We have so many different services and assistance for women, covering a wide range of issues. And for financial services and economic independence, we have 6 different government agencies focusing on this one, helping the MSMEs, and we have government agencies helping with labor and education, and we have specific government policies supporting women, ensuring that we integrate all the services within the same facility. And why do female entrepreneurs face so many problems and challenges? First, because of poverty. Secondly, women face social issues as well in Honduras. And especially gender discrimination and domestic violence or violence against women. Stereotypes are hurting women's entrepreneurship as well, and that's something we have a difficult time trying to change. And for women-led small and medium enterprises, especially in the areas where poverty is prevalent, these female-led small businesses cannot thrive, and women cannot have access to employment opportunities either. More than 85% of the men are able to access employment opportunities, while women only have about 50%. And the job occupations or opportunities for women are less privileged as well, and women have lower wages even for the same job. The difference of wage is 60%. And a lot of women are not secured in terms of employment. They are in the informal employment. For all these unregistered companies, more than 99% are small and medium enterprises with less than 10 employees. And women women often find it difficult to be economically independent and to apply for loans and financing. That is why they don't have the opportunities or the resources available to apply for bank loans. Against that best backdrop, we're devising assistance for women, helping them financially. When women come to us at our service centers, these women share with us their experience in the SMEs. Many of the female entrepreneurs face domestic violence, and this interferes with their business and operation. And in these cases, we often think of offering the services and assistance that they require, helping them moving forward, running their businesses. For a female entrepreneur, we would evaluate whether they are able to be entered into the training programs, or if they are skilled enough, we can facilitate their operations and help them run their businesses. And our service centers offer different trainings, helping them with technology and different professional skills. And we also host market bazaars, help them learn how to sew. And these programs were kicked off in 2021, by the end of 2021. And the female entrepreneurship program, here you can see the picture on the slide, is showing the assistants from Taiwan are helping all these women in the pictures. And these are the progress that we enjoy since then until now. In terms of women empowerment, we still face a lot of challenges. First, we need to facilitate structural change. For example, many women, apart from setting up a lot of women's city centers, we need to integrate the resources and to facilitate fundamental change within the society, allowing women to have financial aid and facilitate justice and equality. To me, justice is very important and urgent issue in terms of empowerment. And because now we have a female president, and we have this comprehensive program in place, ensuring we offer assistance for women entrepreneurship. And that is very important in the supply chain of our industries. We want to help them add values to their businesses and to increase their income. Therefore, we think technology and professional skills are crucial in the training as well. And empowering women in terms of economic power is very important. For these women, they are not secured, they are vulnerable in the society, they don't have the resources to access capital or loans. And Taiwan's government offers such assistance for us in terms of policy, allowing us to have private financial institutions to provide concessional loans for us. So I'm grateful for such assistance, allowing women to access finance and loans, allowing women to kickstart a new beginning and accessing loans. Thank you very much.
谢谢。
Past actions which have been taken for supporting women and for accelerating broad change in Honduras. We are same because our president is the female, the same. Okay, thank you. And next, we would like to invite Vice Minister, Mr. Escalante, to give his presentation.
Thank you, Chairman. I'm going to address the audience in Spanish, so if you want to use the translation service, please do so.
I will be speaking in Spanish, so if you need an interpretation service, please feel free to use it. And today, I am going to talk about women empowerment in Guatemala. First of all, I would like to mention that there is not just one Guatemala. Strictly speaking, there are actually 25 Guatemalas because we have 25 different groups, people from different backgrounds, and we also have suburbs and cities. And there is a more young Guatemala. Our population, the average age of our population is 25 years old. It's very interesting. That is because we cannot just seek the only solution to solve our social issues. That is because we have a very diverse situation. Among our 15 million people, 50% of them are women and 49% of them are men. However, in terms of economic activity, the ratio between men and women is 2 to 1. And now I am going to talk about the financial services in my country and also some financial tools. We have private banks. They are dedicated to financial services. And we also have private sectors. In addition, there are also NGOs and small enterprise. They are medium-sized and small enterprise. In our rural areas and our cities, the situations are very different. Cities have robust financial services. And big companies are operating in big cities. The biggest bank is a private bank. It's a private bank. They are growing as well. They are growing in line with our industrial development. And in small cities, in terms of banking, the services are operated by some small banking operators. They are designed for Aboriginal people. In addition, there is a cultural background difference. For example, for these small banking services, they are focusing on getting close to their client so that they can allow their client to have easy access to financial service. They speak the same language. Like I said, we have 25 different zones. They speak different languages. And of course, in that kind of situation, they can have easy access to a service if they speak the same language. And there are also NGOs. And moreover, there are also relief and aid, some assistance like that. For this kind of service, women can access to the service even though they don't have a record, they don't have enough resources. In addition, there is also the guarantee scheme. They can ask their friend to guarantee for them, and they can use this kind of opportunity to access credit. In terms of our Ministry of Economic Affairs, my job is to allow our people, to allow our women to access financial service. For example, we want to encourage our financial institution to encourage them to provide money to women and to provide money to sectors, to traditional sectors that were used to facing difficulties when it comes to lending money. If they don't have a property, they can still access money through this project. And now there are some trend entrepreneurs. With the training, they can have easy access to financial service as well. That is a very good solution. Now we have this kind of training institute in our country. With this kind of institute, we can provide services to this population. At the same time, SMEs also play an important role. During COVID, there is an approach that enables them to access to financial service. For example, during the pandemic, their businesses was in decline. If they have difficulties, they can apply for financial services under this project. And in rural areas, companies can also access financial service. And then as development banks, they also provide a lot of assistance to women. Of course, there are still challenges. For example, for the Maya ethnicities, for them, they don't have ownership of the land of their property. In addition, there is also cultural barriers. Sometimes they don't have a good understanding of business operation. In addition, there is also language barriers. In our country, there are different languages spoken, so there is language barriers. And the small banking for SMEs, they provide 30 million US dollars in their project. They provide 300 million US dollars for financial institute to encourage them to provide loan to women entrepreneurs. We continue to work with our financial institute. And by doing so, we aim to encourage them to provide money to vulnerable groups. In addition, there are people who, for example, they don't have cars, they don't have assets, and because they don't have these resources, so they cannot access financial service. For this group of people, we would like to design a dedicated program. It will consider the language they use. In traditional financial institute, there is CAPE. They have a special program designed for women. And our second largest bank, they also provide a special account for women. In my opinion, I believe that these are some approaches that we designed for women to allow them to have easy access to finance. Thank you.
Vice Minister, for your comprehensive and insightful presentation. So much effort has been made and so much has been achieved by the government of Guatemala. And we know that financial inclusion is necessary and one of the main responsibilities of banking sector. Yes, we promise we should do that. Thank you. Since the 1970s, the government of Taiwan has had made different policies to support small and medium-sized enterprises through the different stage of economic development. In 2003, the affairs relating to credit guarantee and enterprise counseling were moved to under the Ministry of Economic Affairs. And since then, SMEs financing has had dual support from the government. Next, let us listen to Taiwan's experience. Let's welcome Director General Mr. Wen Lin Su, please.
Thank you, Chairman, and ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon. I think at the first of my presentation, I would like to introduce the current status of women-led enterprise in Taiwan. So from the right table, we can find the education level of women has been rise. In 2017, we can find there are only 8% of women with the education above graduate school. However, and nearly 43% of women, the education level is below high school. But several years later, we can find in 2021, the graduate school or above, the percentage rise to 9%, and below high school decline to 39%. So if above a bachelor, is also rise to 36. So it means in Taiwan, the women have good educated. However, because women already have more opportunity to with a good education, so more women will enter the workplace. So it's also we can see in the left table, the labor force participation rate for women is rising. Even in the epidemic period, we can find the average labor force participation rate is slightly declined, but for women, it's rising. So it means women in Taiwan is more and more important. Okay, and we see this table, and we found although they work in the workplace, and some women will begin to establish their own enterprise. So we can find more and more women-led enterprise emerge. And from this table, we can find the total enterprise that operate more than 20 years is 436,000, and among them, 151,000 are women-led enterprise. It accounts for 34%. But we can also see the operation years under less than 1 year is 39% for women-led enterprise. It means women-led enterprise is younger. It also means more and more women establish their own enterprise. So we can find, we count the operation rate less than 5 years. It account for 31%. Because we have a lot of women-led enterprise in Taiwan, we also curious about how their economic contribution. And from this table, we can find that nearly 37% women enterprise. They contribute 17% of total sales, and 19% are domestic sales, and 11% are export sales. And I think the percentage is rising. And we can see most female enterprise are engaged in wholesale and retail trade. There are 48% of women-led enterprise engaged in wholesale and retail trade, and 14% are in the sector of accommodation and the food service, but only 7% are in the sector of manufacture. So it means even women will establish their own enterprise, but most of them are in the service sector. We just mentioned that we have a lot of women-led enterprise, and it's increasing. But in Taiwan, the women-led enterprise also have to face some challenges. The first challenge is insufficient funding. So we can, from the presentation from the other representative, we can find in many countries, the funding is a big problem for all the enterprise, especially for women-led enterprise. And in Taiwan, some women enterprise also reflect they are insufficient of business resources, just like marketing and R&D resources. And they also lack of business mentoring and consulting because they don't have enough skill level. So they need professional mentoring to assist them to operate business. And finally, is the lack of support from family and a friend. And we know in Taiwan, it's a very traditional concept. If a couple, if a woman got married and they have children, most of they have to decide who will stay at home to take care of the baby. And most of them is women. And sometimes maybe some women are single, but also they have to take care of their their parents. So they need support from the family and the friend. So we also, government in Taiwan, we also give them some assistance measures in different stages. In the startup period, we focus on the skill and the capacity building. We provide career counseling and the incubation courses. And in the growth period, it's most important to facilitate their growth. So we provide financing support and the marketing resources. And in the maturity period, they are already grows well, so we will award them. Because they got the award, they have a good reputation, so it will increase their order. And sometimes they can become a learning model for the other women. And this is the issue of financing in Taiwan of female enterprise. We can see the chart. The average loan interest rate by Taiwan's 5 largest banks is pretty low. However, even the interest rate is low, it's difficult for women to get a loan because they are shortage of collateral. The shortage of collateral make the financial institution unwilling to provide loans to the women. And sometimes, because most female enterprise, the scale of this enterprise is small, so they don't have a good financial statement. And it also makes women, it's difficult for them to borrow from formal financial institution. And the stereotypes, maybe some people will feel that women is weak, so they are unwilling to lend money to the women. But I think this problem is improving in Taiwan. And credit guarantee, this is a very important financial tool in Taiwan because every year, the government and the financial institution have to co-donate fund to the credit guarantee fund. And the credit guarantee can help the female enterprise who are insufficient of collateral. Women have finished 18 to make sure that they have enough negotiate with the bank, just like postpone the time of repayment of the principal or extend the loan period. For startups, for newly business, we have alternative way of financing. I think is also very important for startups. It's called co-funding, and especially for the reward-based co-awarding. It's just like a pre-purchase model. And sometimes you can get the money from the crowdfund platform. And you can use this fund to produce your product. And you also can know the market reaction of this new product. So I think it's a new way for enterprise to get the fund. And finally, I think even the government provide many measures to the women-led enterprise, but we think the women also have to improve themselves. So they have to know the industry trend. So digital transformation and green transformation is a very important industry trend. So if a women want to operate their business successfully, they have used the digital tools to reduce their cost or enhance their operation efficiency. And sometimes the net zero is a very important issue. So maybe they have to improve their produce waste, just like reduce waste or reuse some material. I think it's my suggestion to all the female enterprise. And thank you for your attention. Thank you.
Yes, we are so happy to hear that 37% of entrepreneurs are female. And I think in the future, the percentage will increase. And the Phonics loan program features a light burden solution for women with government-supported guarantees and entrepreneurial counseling. It is powerful financial support for women startups. Thank you, Director General, Ms. Wenyin Shu. Now, let's move our focus onto the International Development Society. Multilateral development organizations and non-government organizations are the main funding provider and key player for development projects. Guarantee is one type of credit enhancement, encouraging the financing to women, micro and SMEs. The Eastern Caribbean Partial Credit Guarantee Cooperation, ECPCGC, was established for the creation of a guarantee scheme dedicated for the Eastern Caribbean region. Mrs. Carmen Goldsman-Trigg, CEO of ECPCGC, is unable to join us physically today, and she recorded a video to share with us the ECPCGC's role in tackling the challenges for women micro SMEs in that region. Let's watch her video.
Hello, I bring you greetings of the Eastern Caribbean Partial Credit Guarantee in St. Kitts. My role this afternoon is to talk to you a little bit about who we are, what we do, and what are some of the challenges that we've encountered over the time that we've been in business. So the Eastern Caribbean Partial Credit Guarantee Corporation, or ECPCGC, was created in response to the contraction of credit in the OECS banking system and the need for MSMEs to have access to credit to grow their businesses. This project is a collaboration of the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank and the World Bank, which has provided loans to select member countries and provides technical assistance to the project. The participating governments are Antigua and Barbuda, Dominica, Grenada, St. Kitts, St. Lucia, St. Vincent, and the Grenadines. All governments except for St. Kitts and Nevis have received loans of $2 million US from the World Bank. So therefore, the amount available for us to do guarantees under this project is approximately 27 million EC dollars. Now, what is the arrangement? The arrangement is such that we as ECPCGC provide a guarantee to the lender on behalf of the borrower. So it's a three-party or tripartite arrangement involving ECPCGC, the banking community, and the entrepreneurs, each one on its own merit. So a guarantee would be between ECPCGC, the lender, and the entrepreneur. All conditions of banking are supposed to exist, but we do have some special conditions for each guarantee that we have under our umbrella. So we have 3 guarantees on offer: the classic guarantee, the working capital guarantee, the startup guarantee, and these were what we were running with from 2020 until now. In addition, during 2022, we received a grant of $5 million US from Taiwan ICDF Fund to be able to do a special guarantee for women entrepreneurs and for entrepreneurs that employ more than 50% women. Because as you know, the women have been very, very hard hit by the pressures of the COVID-19 pandemic. So that's the scenario basically. What we're working on right now with the Taiwan ICDF team is a means of promoting that particular guarantee so that the women know what is out there and how they can avail themselves of that particular product. So let me go a little bit into the process. As I said, the process is done via the lending community. The entrepreneur approaches the bank for a loan to grow his or her business, and the bank would look at the proposal. They would ask a few questions about what collateral or security the entrepreneur has to offer, what has been their injection in the project, what are some of the general conditions which accompany the industry that they are working in. Once the bank is satisfied that their questions have been met and all the conditions of the guarantee have been met, they then send the application to us. We look at the application and we look at certain things that would let us understand how the money that is being lent is going to redound to the growth and development of the business. Because our mandate is to ensure business growth and development, which will ultimately affect in a positive way the growth and development of the various nation states' economies. So we look and see whether this particular amount of money you're looking for is going to really grow your business or whether your business is going to stay stagnant. We also look at the conditions of the industry. Is the industry in a state of growth? Is it static or is it in a state of downward trend? So we look at all of those things and then we give the lender our approval, or if not approval, we ask them to look at certain specifics because we try to approve most of the applications that come to us. So far, we've not turned down any, but sometimes the road is a little bit rocky because of the fact that we need so much information to determine whether there's going to be growth of the business. The most important one is the fact that entrepreneurs do not like to have their businesses registered. I think some of them are afraid that a tax man would come after them, but that's not a reality. So the banks need you to be registered. We need you to be registered before you are eligible for a guarantee. The second one is the nature of your record keeping. The records are not kept, and therefore neither the bank nor ECPCGC is able to determine exactly what's going on at your business, and therefore we can't prove whether the money that you are asking for would grow your business. So the records, what we've seen, people are paying for their personal vehicles out of company funds. They are paying their personal rent out of company funds. They're buying stuff that do not necessarily benefit the business. They're buying that from the company funds. So that commingling that I'm talking about is really, really injurious to the entrepreneur when they come to the bank to get a facility. One of the other challenges that we found is that we look at your actual financial statements for those who have been able to produce those, and then we look at your projections, and we determine sometimes there is no link between the actual and the projections. So let's take for an example, if you're making 100,000 EC dollars a year and you get a loan of say 50,000, sometimes projections will tell us you're going to make $250,000 next year, and we are unable to see how this jump in revenue is going to take place. Now, those are the three main challenges that the banks face. And they've said that when they ask their clients to bring information to them, nothing happens. So they have to drop the loan. So those are the things that I need entrepreneurs to be very, very aware of when they are in fact approaching the banks for the loans. There's another issue that I'd like to highlight, in that our women entrepreneurs and women entrepreneurs globally do not in fact like to take a lot of loans. And they are good. They are good repayers. They pay their loans promptly, but sometimes the loans that you're asking for are not enough to give you that little push that you need. So hopefully the bankers will be able to work with you and to be able to see that you are asking for an adequate amount of capital, because if you do not have the cash, the business cannot grow. And there are a lot of businesses that have fallen by the wayside because of a lack of capital. So what can we do about some of these issues that I've just mentioned? ECPCGC has hired a technical consultant to assist the entrepreneurs to get their packages ready for the bank. That person would look at the business plan, or if not a business plan, certain assets of the business where they look at what you intend to do, who are your competitors, how you're going to market your product, what is your unique selling proposition, in other words, what sets you apart from the rest of the pack. So that person is going to look after all of those and get the package ready for the bank. And we have also hired accountants, one in each island, to be able to help the entrepreneur to bring their financial statements together. So those are the things that we are going to be rolling out. Eventually, the SBDCs, the Small Business Development Centers in each country would take over this role and provide a broader set of technical assistance solutions to the entrepreneurs. So that's it in a nutshell. I thank you so much for listening to me, and please feel free to reach out if you have any further questions. Thank you, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you. And NGOs is an important driving engine in the field of development. Next, let's welcome Katie Taylor, Executive Director of PADF. PADF has been committed to promoting sustainable livelihoods for underserved communities in the Latin America and Caribbean region. Katie will share PADF's experience with us. Let's welcome Ms. Katie Taylor to give us her presentation.
Can you hear me now? Excellent, thank you. So before I start, I want to take a minute to acknowledge the inspiring examples we've just heard that have taken the data and the local reality and turned it into a solution that works in that environment. I mean, from Honduras, Ciudad Mujer, an integrated solution that takes into account the violence and the poverty that many of these women are facing. In Guatemala, it's not one Guatemala, it's an image of 25 Guatemalas divided into urban and rural. And you've taken a wonderful stratified approach at customizing what the government can do in order to best leverage the existing resources. And Taiwan, of course, as always, with beautiful data and evidence, and very open, not only about what you've achieved, which is significant, but very creative solutions. I wanted to take a photograph, just like you did, of some of those last two slides that you showed around crowdfunding. And of course, in the Eastern Caribbean, how they've taken common challenges across these islands and create a pooled solution. So these are really inspiring, and I can't wait to hear from the other panelists. But before I share my thoughts, I wanted to share a story. I used to be in the private sector, and part of that I was in financial services. And there's something I learned about 25 years ago. I was working for a large multinational financial services firm, and we were looking at mortgage services in a large Latin American country. You know, how do people buy their houses? And there was not enough financing for affordable houses. So people could not buy a house, so you had families getting more and more crowded in the parents' and grandparents' home. And they did something which I heard you allude to. You talked about a recent law, which is the shift of the Ley de Garantía Mobiliaria, the shifting from real estate guarantees to other forms of guarantees. So too, in this country, they said, let's change the financing and say it doesn't have to be only done by traditional banks. Sorry, Isung Bank, you're lovely, we love you. And they allowed for the possibility of targeted financial services companies, specifically in the housing sector. And what they did is they reinvented how banking was done. Because how people got paid was in cash every 2 weeks, and it got spent. And so they learned to, instead of waiting for people to come to the bank, they went to the people on payday. They created other customer-centric models by adapting to the reality of the local situation. And that has stayed with me for 25 years. Now I lead the Pan American Development Foundation. And we were created 60, like Year of the Rabbit. We were created 60 years ago by the member states of the Organization of American States as an interface, originally an interface with the private sector, precisely to look at how can we develop solutions like the inspiring examples that have been presented here today and others that I'm sure we'll hear about in a moment. And so when we think about it, it's very much understanding who the local stakeholders are. And of course, how do you leverage? I mean, Taiwan has been brilliant at bringing technology, know-how, and experience to adapt to local conditions and partner with all of us. It's really inspiring, and I'm sure we'll hear more from ICDF in a moment. But it's I think, an example of how you want to work with sustainable development agencies. And so PADF, we have a lot of experience working across Latin America and the Caribbean in, I would say, 3 areas that have all been touched upon. But I would think about them as the supply side, the demand side, and the cultural side. Where on the demand side, we've heard about business advisory services and different forms of capacity building that are really important. But so too, I would add to that, because we haven't yet mentioned it specifically in this panel, digital connectivity. The ability to access digital and mobile payments and cell phones generally can be a game changer for some of the people we seek to work with and the most vulnerable populations. So there's a whole demand side element. On the supply side, there's a lot that we can do that we've talked about on de-risking and credit guarantees, which can be absolutely vital, particularly when they are well thought through and stratified for the appropriate levels, as well as other structural barriers. But the supply and demand side need to come together in this cultural space. And we've heard about some of the strategies and tactics, whether it's mentoring or networks or trade links, or simply being aware that there is a bias, a conscious or unconscious bias sometimes toward financing women-led enterprises. I also heard a recent example, not in the financing industry, but in the music industry, that suddenly you end up hiring a lot more female musicians when you have blind auditions. You just listen to the music. So if we can find ways of having applications that do not specify the gender of the applicant, there may be other such innovative ways to ensure that the applications are based on their merits and not necessarily on gender. Because as we've discussed throughout this whole forum, you know, we're all here because we believe that empowered women whose socioeconomic development we support will in turn not only be labor force participants that can help grow economies, but will support their families financially, will contribute to their communities financially. And that's what the Pan American Development Foundation is here for. We are interested in a hemisphere of opportunity for all across the Americas, and a hemisphere and a world of opportunity for all women and all people. So thank you.
Katie, I'm very much admired by PADF's works and commitment to lifting all type of barrier for women and improving women's livelihoods, even in very challenging areas. And yes, to be a banker, we think that we don't wait for our customer to enter our branch. We have to approach our customer, and customer orientation is necessary. So I think currently the digital channel may be a good way to serve and, yes, still financial inclusion for everybody. Thank you very much. And financial institutions are on the front line of lending to women. International development organizations have been leading the role in encouraging financial institutions to innovate for women. Next, I would like to invite Mrs. Rosemary Yongxin Wang, representing one of the leading development organizations in Central America Bank for Economic Integration, CABE, to introduce CABE's effort in promoting financial inclusion for women. Rosemary is the country representative officer of CABE's country office in Taiwan. Now let's welcome Ms. Wang to give us her presentation.
Thank you, Chairman Huang. Good afternoon. I'm Rosemary Wang, representative officer of CABE's Taiwan office. I'm very happy to have this opportunity to share with you what efforts and achievements CABE has made in promoting the financial inclusion for women. Next. First, I will briefly introduce CABE. Central American Bank for Economic Integration, so-called CABE, is an international multilateral development bank. It was founded in 1960. And CABE's mission is to promote the economic integration and the balanced economy and the social development of Central American region. Taiwan joined CABE in 1992, and as one of the bank's first non-regional members. Next. Since CABE's mission is to promote balanced economic and social development in Central American region, it would be incomplete without the inclusion of gender equality. Therefore, gender equality has been incorporated into the main axis of CABE's institutional strategy for 2020 to 2024. We are committed to promote women's empowerment and enhancing their economic autonomy. Next. To promote the gender equality, CABE is not alone. We work with strategic partners such as AFD, Taiwan ICDF, CACA, and UN Women, and so on. Next. Let's take a look at the Global Gender Gap Index ranking in 2022. The index quantifies the gap between women and men across health, education, economy, and politics. CABE has 8 member countries in Central American region. Only 2 of them perform well. However, both countries rank poorly in terms of women's economic participation and opportunities. The inequality rank higher. The inequality in this region rank higher than. The inequality in the most of the member country rank higher than others. And apparently, the social and the economic status of women in this region is lower than that of men. The gap deteriorated and became bigger caused by the pandemic. So the situation has become more serious than ever during and after pandemic. Next. To promote the gender equality, the most important thing is to identify what the women's need. From the social perspective, women need protection from violence, women need education, women need their own houses. So CAPE work with public sectors and launch 4 programs to help women. And from the economic perspective, what do women need? We found it's very difficult for women to get financing for their businesses. As well, we launched 2 important programs to promote women's financial inclusion and economic empowerment. Next. The first program is the Regional Financing Program for Women Entrepreneurs, so-called FAN. Next. This program targets micro, small, and medium enterprises, so-called MSME, with less than 100 people, and provide financing under $1 million for 4 types of women. Women who want to start a business, women owners of micro, small, and medium-sized company, MSME with female partners and majority shareholders. Fourth, MSME have more than 50% of female employees. Next. This program, the resources can be used for working capital and investment purposes. And the credit terms are as what you can see here. Next. What have we achieved with this program? More than $30.9 million was disbursed in 4 countries through 12 intermediary financial institutions. And more than 9,000 households were benefited. Women owners of MSME and the women starting a business accounted for 88% of this program. Next. The second program is Financial Sector Support Facility for MSME affected by COVID. Next. Before talking about the details, I would express our gratitude to Taiwan ICDF for supporting CAPE to promote this program. Next. This program has 4 mechanisms: loan, guarantee fund, technical assistance, and donations. Next. First, we provide loan. Either company, they retain 50% of their employees or rehire 50% of the people got laid off during the pandemic can apply for this program. And the new companies can also receive the loans for the purpose of creating jobs. The amount of financing is up to $5 million. Next. Second, we offer guarantee fund. The guarantee fund, the eligible guarantee fund, the guarantee fund is to help the women related MSME to get loans to deal with the crisis caused by COVID. And there is no charge, no commission fee or expenses charged for under this guarantee fund. Next. And the small donations are designed for the micro and the small enterprises, which set up less than 4 years and have committed to maintaining at least 50% of their employees. Next. And for CABE, providing financing and technical assistance are both are important. Helping women to upgrade their business and tech capability is an important part of this program. And we also encourage them to join the training programs or specific financial projects developed by intermediary financial institutions. Next. What are the main achievements with this program? More than 3,200 women-led companies were benefited. More than 22,000 female employees were protected. Next. Although we work hard to implement a series of programs to promote the gender equality, we still haven't done enough. Now we are facing several challenges. We need more participation from the government and the institution. We need more resources in large-scale projects. We need to provide more insights on gender equality projects for policy making. We need to learn and replicate successful experience from other countries or institutions. Here today, we have come this far. On the other hand, we still have a long way to go. I hope this forum can allow the public's attention to the gender equality issue and work with us. Last, I would like to talk about FAST. FAST is CABE's foundation responsible for social support projects. Gender equality is one of the priority sectors for the use of FAST resources. We welcome your donation to FAST and work with us to promote the gender equality. Next. Thank you very much for your attention.
We would like to give a round of applause to Rosemary's informative presentation. It's not only because Taiwan is CABE's member country, but also because CABE's achievements in empowering women through enhancing their access to finance, education, and other social opportunities for growth and development. In addition, CABE issues bonds to raise funds, and Isan is one of the buyers. So we are proud to buy the CABE's bond. Thank you. We cannot get best financial services without sound, solvent, and advanced financial institutions to constantly equip bankers and financial practitioners with most up-to-date financial knowledge and know-how, and to facilitate financial innovation. Taiwan established a dedicated research and training institution for finance, which is called Taiwan Academy of Banking and Finance, TABF. Now I will give the floor to Dr. Huang, President of TABF. Please.
Thank you. Thank you, Chairman Huang, distinguished guests, and ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. So can you check to my presentation? Okay. Unlike other speakers, I will focus on the personal finance. Unlike other speakers has talked a lot about the enterprise finance. So today I would like to share the TABF experience on how to empower women have knowledge and the capability to pursue their financial wellness and happiness. TABF is a leading training nonprofit organization. we not only to increase the productivity of the financial sector, but we also have the responsible to promote the financial inclusion. So today I will share our story, and we're looking forward to cooperate with all of you, and let's make a better tomorrow. So before my story, I would like to say why the financial capability of women matters. Because as we've seen about 50 years ago, women mostly they stay at home taking care of the children, and that depends on others to support their financial needs or living. But right now, we see a lot of change of the economic role of a woman. I conclusion there have three features about the woman's economic role change. The first one is they increase in their earning. That means the higher woman wage to give the woman have the opportunities to save and manage their own money. And the second one is, as Ms. Su has talking about, the rise of the participation rate of women in labor markets. That once women are employed, their labor pool no longer depends on others, so they can choose their way to live. So that's also change in the family structure, because women, they become more independent. So they are earning not only for their family, but they can own to pursue the happiness of their own. They can buy all the goods they like. So this makes more important, the woman must have the financial management skill. However, we found a survey conducted by S&P. They find that still a huge gap, the gender gap in financial literacy between the men and the woman. And so we saw a lot of women, not only in developing country, but also in developed country. They face the problem. For example, they have some pay points. They don't have the ability to choose the correct or suitable financial goods for them. And about the overconsumption, they will create the credit overthrow problem. And when they got older, they may face the problem of senior poverty. So we have to find a way to provide the efficient financial education for women, and that can truly improve the woman's economic status. So my organization, TABF, about 3 years ago, we modified our methodology to provide the training program for the financial inclusion. So in year 2020, we conducted the first Taiwan financial life survey. We want to know how the Taiwan's household or Taiwan's individual, how they manage their earning, and what is their most financial risk they have to face. And the second year, we developed different kind of the tool, including the financial personality assessment and the other useful instruments to enlarge the impact of training program. So last year, 2022, we have conducted a whole range financial education program. That means we not only teaching the children in the school, but we also teaching the adults around this whole society. In last year, we have finished 250 lectures, and over 40,000 persons has participated in our lectures. The two major aspects is what we are doing. The one is we try to give them the right or correct financial knowledge. we call to wake up their awareness of their financial situation. So we organize the learning materials, and we also provide the online learning materials to let them can access the correct and the useful knowledge. But the second part is we call to action. We want all the people can change their financial behavior, especially for the weakness or disadvantaged people in the society. We give them some capacity building opportunity from the training workshop and the coaching and the guideline to modify their financial behavior. I would like to share one special one we call the Financial Happiness for Self-Development Plan for Rural Area Women. That is a program took about 6 months. We have divided it into 3 stages. The first stage is the first month. Before the instruction, we do interview and the questionnaire to help the woman. They know what the situation they are right now. And we want to know what is their really financial problem. And the second stage is to about 2 months. We provide six kind of the financial material. We call that cornerstone material. And we also provide like the online booking. They can keep all their record on income and the expense. And we also took another 3 months after the class. We tracking their behavior. We calculate the participant financial health to know their knowledge, attitude, and the behavior change. If necessary, we also provide some suggestion. I just say we have 6 cornerstone courses that we can see that. First one is we teach them to know their financial situation. The second one is we tell them the important financial knowledge, like how to calculate the interest of their debt. And the third one is about to calculate the income and the expense, and how to do the investment, and to do the lifetime expenditure analysis. And the last one I think is very important is teach them how to avoid the happen of a financial risk. I'm so happy to say the impact of this program. 82 female has participated in this program, but in the end, we calculate it's more than 10 million saving increase. That's around 360,000 US dollars. And the decrease in liability is around 152 US dollars. And I'm so glad to say we have 85% of the women, they continually have a saving behavior for more than 3 months. So I think it should have done something good. So I would like to share the happiness of their face to you. Okay, 那里有一个播放的键，帮我播。
We have a play button. Please press it so that we can play the video.
TABF began cooperation with the Jia Hui Social Welfare and Charity Foundation. We promoted financial literacy in rural areas so that rural women can understand their financial risk profiles and change their behavior and implement sound concepts in order to achieve their financial goals.
From the outset, the foundation understood that women's financial empowerment is important. We might know how to make money, but if we don't know how to manage it, it won't last. Or we might not know the value of our money.
This course adopts a combination of training and coaching to ensure that each student can apply what they have learned to their daily lives. After laying the foundation, we combine lectures on different topics and introduce different financial investments so that students can also independently decide what's suitable for them.
After participating in these classes, I think that life is about remembering to keep accounts every day, and then also distinguishing the things you need, must have, and want.
TABF has assembled professional instructors and teaching materials to train rural women to gradually make their lives more stable and improve their financial resilience. Building on 2 to 3 years of pilot demonstrations, TABF develops suitable learning materials and training cases to build up women's financial management capabilities, to be shared to other countries and regions, and be promoted to more people in need, so that more families leave poverty and have the opportunity to attain economic security.
Okay, that's my presentation, and I hope we also open a very a new financial museum in our office. That's 罗斯福路3段 around. So I invite all.
We just opened the museum.
Cooperation opportunity with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Fang, for showcasing TABF's innovative endeavor for women's self-development. Not only financial officers have to catch up with new financial knowledge, women borrowers themselves also have to possess basic financial literacy to increase their chance of getting loans from financial institutions. We are heard from panelists, from governments and development organizations. Now, we cannot wait to hear the first-hand from women entrepreneurs. Ms. Renique Zhang, founder of My Crown of Curls, came a long way from St. Vincent to here to share her story with us about what she has overcome to become a successful woman in business. Please, the floor is yours, Ms. Zhang.
Hello. Oh. Good afternoon, everyone. I am beyond elated to be here. And I've been just sitting here and listening to everybody else, and I'm like, I'm so impressed by all of the presentations and happy that there are organizations who are heavily invested in the development of women, not only in my small island, but everywhere. So my name is Renique Zhang, and I'm the owner of the brand My Crown of Curls. For example, I create natural hair care products, and although we live in a predominantly black society, natural hair was not something that was celebrated. We, like many other countries, how do I say this? So growing up in the Caribbean, growing up in St. Vincent particularly, we're told that we should relax our hair. I don't know if you understand that term. You do? Okay. So you should straighten your hair to make it, and that will make you be more beautiful, that will make you be more acceptable, that will make you get the jobs and all of that, right? So we didn't grow up with people telling you your natural hair is beautiful and you can wear it curly just like how I am wearing it. I started My Crown of Curls because I believe that natural hair is beautiful and that God doesn't make mistakes. So if He created some of us with hair like this, there must be something in nature that will moisturize my hair, that will make it be healthy, and that will make it thrive, right? So I started experimenting, and I'm looking at, okay, different ingredients. What will shea butter do to my hair? What will avocados do to my hair? What vitamins and minerals are found in these products that will make my hair healthy and thrive? And after doing lots of trial and error, I like to tell people that I am my first guinea pig. So I will never sell you something that does not work for me. And after my hair started to thrive, then persons in my community will be like, what are you doing to your hair? I need some of that. Why aren't you selling it to me? Right? So that's how, I got started. Now, we're talking about finance and how finance has helped women, right? So being a woman and having a non-traditional job, it's not a case where you can just walk into the bank and be like, this is my business, I'm selling water, can I have $20 million to start my job? It's not gonna happen, right? So I reinvested every bit of money that I made back into my brand. So I started off small, I started making 10 products, and the profits from those 10 products would go back into my business, and I kept growing and growing and so forth. Something that I'm very proud of with my business is that I look at persons in my community and in my country who may not necessarily get a traditional job. For example, if they dropped out of high school due to teenage pregnancy, or they just didn't have the opportunities that other people have, and they're not as educated, or they didn't get as far because they don't have enough finances, then I will find a way to incorporate them into my business. I don't have a major enterprise, but I would employ them part-time to help me with production. So they will help me with bottling my products, because I make everything from scratch, all formulas are my own. And so I will have help with bottling my products and maybe cleaning up my workstation. And so that will give them financial independence, right? Financial independence is so important because they have kids that they need to feed. They want to maybe go back to school, and that's major. Also, I have a summer break program in which I incorporate persons to help me during their school break. A lot of times when we leave university or we leave college, we're asked for job experience. I don't know where we're going to get it from because we have spent all our time in school. So that's super important because at least they can say, okay, in my summertime, this is what I did. And I got some money that could help me to buy my books and to give my parents an ease with sending me to school. So I'm very happy about that. When I first heard about the ICDF Women Empowerment Project, I was super excited, and I said, I need to be a part of this program. So when I heard about it, they already had the first batch of people, and I wasn't sure how it was going to work. I didn't know if they would have multiple batches or if that was just the only batch. So when I heard that there was a second batch, I think I found out maybe the week before it was going to close. I wrote up my applications and everything, and I was like waiting with bated breath, hoping that I would be accepted. When I got accepted, I was so elated. And I learned so much during that program. Even though I am a small business owner, sometimes when you are focusing on production, you don't have the time to like sit down and say, okay, let me look at my business and what I need to work on and so on. So and even though like you know it in your head, you don't have the time to like write it down on paper. So those designated slots where we would be learning about finances, where we'll be learning about our business plans and SWOT analysis and all of that, it was very helpful because I could have the time to do all of those things outside of production. So there were 43 persons in my batch, all amazing female entrepreneurs, had so much businesses. We had people who were baking, people who were sewing, so many great stuff. And we had, I think, 39 of us got grants, and then we had a business plan competition where they took the top 10, and then 3 of us won the top 3, and I was the top 1 of the top 3. And I was very, very, very excited and grateful for my grant. Now, what I did with my grant money, I bought 2 industrial mixers. That has increased my production for a particular product, which is my butters, I could only make 12 a batch, and then I could now make 50 a batch, which is a big deal, right? I also got a standing immersion blender. I got 2 stainless steel tables, and I also got, what else did I get? An immersion blender. And I'm very grateful for the grant, so that it helped put me in a better position where I could use my equipment in order to scale my business. I'm trying to make sure that I say everything I need to say. So for the future of my Crown of Curls, I want to eventually have a production studio and supply not only St. Vincent, but the region as well. I do have friends that I have made at university. I went to the University of the West Indies, Cavell Campus, Barbados. So I made some friends, and I will sometimes send over batches of products to them, and they will, distribute them for me. But I want to have a more concrete way of doing this. And also, I plan to have a natural hair salon, which focuses on natural hair care. That's something that we don't have in my country, and I think that would be awesome. And also, I want to have a consultation office that people could come in and, do their consultations. So I'm really, really, really grateful to be here. And thank you to the Taiwanese government and people for looking at women and for acknowledging them and for realizing that we have so much talent and for giving us a shot. We truly, truly, on behalf of all the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and I'm sure the world, we thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Zhang, for sharing your valuable experience and perspective. I think many people here, including myself, have been inspired. Yes, it's a business, it's a startup, it's a dream. Okay, go ahead. Last but not least, I would like to invite Mr. Xinhuang Liu, Director of Taiwan ICDF, to speak about how Taiwan's Development Aid Agency works together with development partners to create synergies through cooperation and harmonization. The floor is yours, Director Liu, please.
Okay, thank you, moderator, for your kind introductions. And I am Jonathan Liu, Shihong Liu, and coming from Taiwan ICDF. And it really my honor to be here to take part in these special programs talking about women's economic empowerment, especially for the gender equalities. And next one. This is my presentation online because I think that we have time limitations for the whole forum, so I have to speed up what I want to talk about my presentations. So, and next one, please. This is an introduction of Taiwan ICDF. If anybody don't know who we are, please raise your hand, and maybe after forum we can have an exchange of our business cards and just squeeze. In a word, Taiwan ICDF is the largest foreign aid agency here in Taiwan, and our work actually is tailor-made to the local needs of each partner countries. Let's see it. Next one, please. Challenge, I think that in the last 2 years, and the COVID-19 pandemic has brought tremendous impact on people's livelihood and the worsening gender inequality in LAC regions. According to the World Bank estimate, 38 percent for women. Job loss is for 38% for women, and compared to 17% for men. It's roughly 2.2 times higher than men. And the pandemic has caused over 120 million women living in the poverty lines in these regions. So in terms of business sectors, and 76 of the women-led enterprises hardly get financing resources because these all financial institution or bank in these regions, they took more strict credit policies during the hard time. Next, please. The barriers, and I think the women not only spend more time on unpaid family work, but also comparatively lack of access to the financial, to the information and skill training available to men. On the other hand, I will say that they also face greater difficulties than men in gaining fundings because for their business, because the founders, or I say the bank tend to believe that men are more entrepreneurial and growth-minded than women. The lack of this traditional collateral and the prevalence of discriminatory property rights and insufficient financial information are at the centers of the credit shortage of these women faced. So due to the lack of these resources, it's hard for them to scale up their activities and productivities. Next. So, and here I would like to present to you our action for women economic empowerment in LAC regions, and to support Taiwan allies countries in these regions to boost the economy and maintain the social stabilities in the post-pandemic eras. Since 3 years ago, I think 2021, so we launched a regional and holistic programs that integrate the technical assistance, vocational training, as well as financial assistance to provide is a kind of a comprehensive support for women. Next, please. This regional program benefits 8 countries in Central America and the Caribbean regions, and the beneficiaries, women and women-led enterprises, are spread over a wide range of sectors, including catering, hairdressing, body cares, or clothing, tourism, as well as agricultural-related business. Next. And as I mentioned before, these holistic programs are comprising various foreign aid instruments to deal with the issue of gender equalities. We are seeking to external resources and engaging the like-minded international organizations, regional development, or government, and the INGO to scale up the benefits of our proposed programs. The following session, I will just mainly focus on actions we took for the financial assistance in different countries by different partners. Next. The first case I will present to you our partnership with the Central America Bank for Economic Integrations in Guatemala and Honduras under such holistic programs. This project was starting in last year, so actually it's the first time that the Taiwan ICDF and the CAPE cooperate on gender issues. This facilities covers the instruments of credit guarantee, soft loans, as well as technical assistance, which will improve the women's ability to access the financing resources by sharing the credit risk with the financial institutions. In the meantime, the technical assistance will be provided to the financial institution accordingly to strengthen their digital capability to develop appropriate financial products for women. And this case, most importantly, is the European Union and the UN women have joined this fund as well. Through this platform, I think ICDF can work with the international partners to contribute to the gender equality and toward to a sustainable and inclusive recovery in Central America. Next, please. According to the CDB means the Caribbean Development Bank reports say that MSME sector contribute more than 60% of GDP, account for over 70% of the business, and more than 50% of the total employment in Caribbean regions. To reach this sustainability of women and to boost the economy of the small island developing states after the pandemic, the Taiwan SDF and the ECPCGC means the Eastern Caribbean Partial Credit Guarantee Corporations join forces to initiate this credit enhancement scheme for the women-led enterprises in 4 Caribbean countries. And the ECPCGC will offer a partial credit guarantees along with the participating financial institutions' small loans that service the women enterprises. And I think that the features of this scheme is that it's a very low collateral requirement, very low safe raise funds, as well as a long grace period. Next, please. Since last years, I think on September 2022, the Taiwan SDF and the Paraguay Development Financing Corporations agencies signed a cooperation agreement with amounts of $5 million for creation of women credit funds, so-called the FOGAMU. The FOGAMU was designed as a versatile instrument that allow financial institutions to provide women business with credit lines that will be secured up to 90% of guaranteed coverage. Actually, its mandate is to help those women-based enterprises who don't have sufficient collateral or security can get the loan approved by the bank. Furthermore, the guarantee fund is also seeking to mitigate the possible risk of these kinds of underserved group perceived by the financial institutions. Next, please. So, partnership with the PADF in Haiti. I think that the MSME sectors are critical, very critical to Haitian economy, as they account for almost 95% of employment. Unfortunately, they are extremely affected by the pandemic and social unrest in recent years. Let's also consequently increase the woman vulnerabilities and put them at disadvantage. In this regard, we are considering the Pan American Development Foundation has well experience on SME development and a very strong local network in Haiti. So Taiwan ICDF is working with the PADF to establish a women's credit guarantee facility, which will be provided to the qualified participating financial institution in Haiti that service the woman entrepreneur locally. I'm sure that these upcoming corporations will create the whole brand new credit enhancement scheme only for women in Haiti. Moreover, I would like to take this opportunity to thank the PADF professional team. Without your efforts and your endeavors to list our partnership, I think Taiwan cannot make this gender-based project realized in Haiti. Conclusion. Here I would like to give you 2 points as my conclusion. First, I think there is the importance of financial literacy for women. Despite every stakeholder's engagement on gender equality, such as the government, development agency, and the NGO, they put a lot of efforts or resources, whatever in forms of policy reform, financial support or skill trainings. And many women in this sector still face numbers of cultural, economic, and psychological or physical limitations that make it difficult for them to become financially literate. So in any case, to achieve the effectiveness of financial inclusion for women, I think it requires to build up the financial literacies to foster saving and money management, credit access to credit system, as well as digital skill for women. And the second one is, I think, the importance for the financial institution. That means that I think for the financial institution, the investment on new technologies are very helpful to shorten the women's financing gap. That means that the financial institution, I think, that had better to introduce non-traditional instruments or services such as digital finance or alternative credit scoring or alternative guarantees. Such of these kinds of fintech products are proven to be one of the good solutions to facilitate underserved groups' financial access. This is my presentation. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Director Liu. Your presentation summarized the key points of the previous panelists and concludes this section very well. Yes, digital change our lifestyle, and digital change the face of banking industry. We should use technology to better serve the needs, financial need of women, we think. And distinguished panelists, ladies and gentlemen, from the past 2 hours of fruitful discussion, we can conclude that women's economic empowerment is about building women's competitiveness. They need to be provided with equal opportunity for education, advisory services, and trainings to improve their financial, digital, technological, and business skill. The barriers of accessing financing and other economic resources have to be eliminated as well. This should be done at different levels. First, at the government level, supporting women entrepreneurship should be clearly incorporated in national sustainable development goals. Secondly, for development organizations and international NGOs, in addition to credit guarantees, it is encouraged to utilize concessional funding to pioneer new instruments or mechanisms to motivate financial institutions to change practice and increasing lending to women. Fintech might also be one of the answers for this. Thirdly, at the women entrepreneur level, connecting each individual woman into networks is a powerful way for them to exchange experience and information and expand access to resources. This is the end of the panel discussion. I would like to express my gratitude to the panelists and all audience members for participating in this discussion. I believe this discussion contributes to raising the awareness of the financial sector on women empowerment, and I hope you all enjoyed the discussion and have been enlightened by it. Thank you.
All panelists and the moderator, please remain on the stage and please stand up. We are going to take in a photograph.